Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be putting to the test Rihanna's new makeup line, Fenty Beauty. I'm sure you guys have seen so many videos on this brand. You're probably sick of it, but I knew I had to get my hands on some of the products and try them out on camera with you guys and give you my first initial thoughts, my review, my impressions on this line. I did pick up 5 pieces from the line, which I showed you guys in a recent beauty haul, and I am wearing them all on my face today. Today is the first time that I've actually tried the products out, and I do have to say there are some hits and there are some misses. I decided to do this first impression a little bit different. I did already go ahead and put everything on my face, and I did film myself getting ready, but I wanted to kind of walk through the products with you instead of trying them out and telling you what I think on the fly. I really wanted to kind of work with the products on my own and see how they worked with my skin, get my thoughts together and share them with you guys in that way. So if you like this style of first impressions, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and I'll try to incorporate them more throughout my first impressions and reviews that I do. So without any further rambling, I'm gonna go ahead and just share with you guys in the order that I applied the products to my face what I think about them right off the bat. First off, the primer. I did pick up the primer, and can we first talk about how pretty the packaging is? I feel like the whole line is very aesthetically pleasing. The primer's in a nice frosted glass bottle, much like the foundation. It does have a nice pump right here. It does say it's supposed to smooth, it's supposed to diffuse your pores and extend your makeup wear. Putting this on my face, it's very lotiony. It comes out almost like a lotion. That is what it looks like right there. I do really like the scent of it, but it's very lotiony and creamy. I feel like if you're somebody that has dry skin, you might really like this, even though it's supposed to be like a mattifying primer. I think you might actually like this. I don't really find it being super mattifying to the skin, but since it does have that really nice creamy texture to it, you might really like it. However, I don't really like this. I feel like for the price, it doesn't really do much for my skin. I am somebody that has combination skin with enlarged pores right here. I do also have some fine lines and texture, and I just don't really feel like this primer does anything. So this is probably a product that I'm going to be ending up returning because it just doesn't do anything for my skin. My pores are very visible right in here in this area. Around my nose, they're not concealed at all. I don't know if you guys can tell, but they're not filled in at all. In between my eyebrows here, I can still see my little fine line. It's not too bad on my forehead. My forehead just looks really bad because of another product I'll mention to you guys here in a moment, but it's just not doing anything for my skin. I like to use, my Becca First Light Priming Filter on the outer parts of my face to give me a nice little glow, and I do like to have some kind of pore minimizing primer. I feel like primers that I've tried from the drugstore work a little bit better than this, so I cannot say that I would recommend this to you guys off the bat. Of course, I'm gonna wear this makeup throughout the day, and I'll give you kind of my final thoughts towards the end of the night. But as of right now, I definitely can see myself returning this primer because it just doesn't do anything. It's not doing anything for my smile lines. It's not doing anything for my pores, like I said. So if you are somebody that struggles with larger pores, I don't know if this is something that would work for you. Also, side note, there are products that work differently for different people. So if I mention that I don't like something that you absolutely love, please don't take offense to it. It's no way me bashing the brand. It's just that I have very picky skin, very finicky skin, and some products just don't work the same on others as they do you, and that's okay. We're all built differently. Next up, we're going to talk about the sponge, and this is another product that I was not super keen on. I don't think that I'm going to be keeping this sponge. Honestly, I do think I'm going to try and return it. If you've seen any of my previous Beauty Blender dupes, I am cutthroat when it comes to makeup sponges. I'm very picky. I love the Beauty Blender. It's my go-to makeup sponge of all time. I would spend $20 on the Beauty Blender any day because it is just the best. This sponge retails for $16, which I feel like for $4 more, I would much rather have the Beauty Blender in my life. Side by side, especially when they're dry, they're about the same size and they feel very similar in texture. But when you get them both damp, that's when they really kind of change. The Fenty sponge definitely gets a lot softer than the Beauty Blender, which you would think wouldn't be a bad thing, but it gets super, super soft, and I feel like this absorbs so much product. The Beauty Blender just has the perfect density to it. I don't know what it is about this sponge, but I did go in with my Beauty Blender after I could could not make this thing work. And it gave me a ton of coverage. It really blended out the foundation beautifully, and you cannot go wrong with a beauty blender. Another thing that I'm not the biggest fan of is the tip of this sponge. It has a nice line right here, which I think would be perfect for carving out your contour or anything like that. Maybe even like blending out contour on your nose if you're somebody that cream contours. But I do not like this tip for getting in around the eye. If you want something that has kind of like that sharp edge, I would definitely say check out the EcoTool sponge, because this is like $6 individually. It comes in a duo pack for like 10 bucks. It's very dirty. This has that nice sharp line, but the difference between the two here is that this line right here is thin all the way across. The Fenty sponge has this little like dome. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but it has this little dome right there, and that is just not the easiest thing to bend to get into the inner corner. Like, do you see how big that is? That just does not work. That's very awkward. I do like the EcoTool sponge. It's probably the closest beauty blender dupe that I've found, and I feel like you can really get this down to a nice little V shape like that and really get into the inner corner of the eye. That's just my personal opinion on this sponge. I do not think that this is worth $16. I feel like if you're wanting to try out a makeup sponge and this is on your list, I would say just spend the extra $4 to get the beauty blender, because it's honestly the best. Now, if you're somebody that does like softer sponges, maybe this is something that will work for you. If you're somebody that doesn't need a lot of coverage, this is something that will work for you. But I'm somebody that I want the most out of my product. I don't want a sponge to soak up all of my product. I want to have some coverage. So that is why I always gravitate towards the beauty blender. I do feel like this is very similar to the e.l.f. Precision sponges, the white ones. I tried those out at the beginning of the year and I just did not like those at all. So kind of no surprise that I don't like this one, because it feels exactly the same as those. Again, my personal opinions, this is something that I will probably end up returning. Next up, we have the foundation. I did get the shade 150, and can I just say, I was very, very surprised when I saw the price of the foundation. It retails for $34, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, it retails for $34, and there are 40 shades of this foundation, which is incredible. I don't think there's any brand out there that has launched with 40 shades of a foundation. So props to Rihanna. I think the color selection is out of this world. I feel like the undertones are so spot on, especially for those of you that have a deeper complexion. I think she totally hit the nail on the head with the color selection, and I cannot wait to see if she comes out with different formulas and stuff like that, because the color range is just spectacular. Definitely one of the best color ranges I've ever seen in a foundation. I did end up getting the shade 150, and I feel like that shade fits my skin tone perfectly. It is more of a neutral undertone foundation, which is what I tend to go for, because my face is more pink tone and my body is more yellow tone. So I do like to have a little bit more of a neutral shade of foundation. Now, I know a lot of people were saying that the foundation dries down a little bit darker than when it first comes out. I didn't really notice that too much. I feel like it did get a little bit darker, but I think it still matches my body pretty well. I do actually surprisingly like this foundation. I kind of went into it thinking I wasn't going to like it. It's funny because I was like, I'm gonna love the primer, I'm gonna hate the foundation, and I don't like the primer and I like the foundation. That just goes to show you need to try things out for yourself to see how things work for your skin. I really thought this was gonna be super drying on my face, because I have heard that it can be really drying. It accentuates dry patches and stuff like that. But on my skin, I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. I don't like it on the center of my face because of one of the matchsticks that I have. Like, I feel like that's the reason. On the outer parts of my face, I think it looks flawless. This does have amazing coverage, and using it with the beauty blender, just the combination was amazing. I really do like the foundation a lot, and I'm surprised that I like it. I totally went in thinking I was gonna end up returning this, but I think I might actually keep it. I feel like with my regular primers that I use, it'll just be flawless. And it does have that same kind of scent that the primer has, which doesn't bother me. It is more of a liquidy foundation. It does kind of run down your hand, but I think it's gorgeous. So far, loving the foundation. I can't wait to see how it wears throughout the rest of the day and let you guys know. But so far, for me, I really like it. I really think it's worth it. Another product that I'm just not really loving is the Match Stick. It's a matte skin stick, and I got mine in the shade Linen. This is supposed to be a concealer, corrector, what else does it say? It can be like a contour. They have highlighting sticks as well. I just do not like how dry this is. This is a very, very dry stick. It's kind of like the Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation, but drier, which I did not like the Anastasia Beverly Hills foundation stick. This just does not look good. It does not look good underneath the eyes. I have very dry under eyes, and I did really hydrate my under eyes today because I knew I was going to be doing this video, and I was like, oh, I don't know how that's gonna work on my skin, and it looks very, very patchy. I mean, it looks very patchy. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it doesn't have a lot of coverage either. You can still see a lot of darkness on the inner part of my eye there, and it's so splotchy. It looks awful. Also down the center of my face, I did put it on my chin, my nose, and up here on my forehead, and I feel like my forehead looks so splotchy and so dry. It's clinging to all the dry patches there on my forehead. It's also clinging in between my eyebrows. I could not get that to blend out at all. My nose looks very patchy. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but my nose looks very, very patchy. I'm actually surprised with my chin. It doesn't look that bad. I feel like the upper part of my face looks a lot worse than the lower part of my face. So I would not recommend this to you guys unless you have super oily skin. If you have any dryness at all, I would stay far, far away from it. Like I said, I do have combo skin, so I do get kind of oily in my T-zone, but the outer parts of my face and my under eyes can be pretty dry. I did not use my e.l.f. Prep and Prime Hydrating Balm, but I think that even with that, it still would look kind of dry underneath my eyes. So for me, this is not something that I would recommend. I didn't pick up any of the darker shades to contour with just because I'm not a cream contour kind of gal, like I've said. So this is a pass for me. I don't even think I'll try out any of their cream highlighters because I feel like they'll be the same formula. And the price of this was $25. I don't think I mentioned that, but $25 for the matchstick. Onto the last product that I got, I did pick up one of the Killawat highlighters. I picked up the shade Lightning Dust and Fire Crystal. This I do really like. This is what the duo looks like itself. I do want to try out some more colors because I think that it is just a stunning highlighter. I do prefer this side over here just because it's a little bit more subtle. I feel like this side right here is super chunky, super glittery, but perfect for a night out or something like that. That is what that one looks like right there. Very bold. I do feel like if you have texture and you use the more bold shade, it does kind of emphasize that a little bit. So I just took a little bit on this side of my face because this side I went a little crazy. But I did take a little bit just kind of right here, and I feel like it doesn't emphasize texture too bad if you just go in with a very small amount. This side over here is so beautiful though. If you are somebody that is looking for a nice, just like everyday subtle highlighter, I feel like that color is gorgeous. I do like the versatility of this. I do like that it's a duo. You have your more subtle everyday highlighter, and then you have your more amped up night out shade as well. So you could throw this in your bag, you could touch up if you needed to, and if you're going out, you can just pop a little of the other side on your cheeks and be good to go. I really do like this. I would love to try out more of the colors, and the packaging is just stunning. I love this. The highlighters do retail for $34, so the same price as the foundation. The price I don't think is too bad considering you're getting two different highlighting products. I don't mind spending the money if it's a good product. It does have really nice packaging. It has a nice mirror up top, so it's perfect to throw into your bag. I really do like this. I think this and the foundation right now are my two favorite products. The other three products, I honestly can see myself just returning to Sephora. I don't think I'm going to be using them, but I am going to go ahead and wear this throughout the day. The time right now is 11:49. I'll wear this for a few hours and check in later on in the evening and let you guys know how everything is wearing, if my opinion on any of these products change from where I'm at right now. So I will see you in a few hours. All right guys, I am back. It's a little after 7:20 right there. Don't mind my crazy ass hair. I don't know what its problem is today, but it's just being all kinds of funky. We're just gonna ignore it. I'm actually pleasantly surprised with how all of this held up. Let me grab my mirror here. I've had these products on all day and I'm ready to take them off. I'm ready to unwind for the day, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised with how everything looks all together, especially for having it on as long as I have. The foundation I'm very, very pleasantly surprised with. I do feel like it's gotten a little bit darker over the hours, but I don't think it's too bad. I mean, it is a little bit darker than my body, which I feel like it definitely oxidized a tad, but it actually looks really good. It's not patchy or anything on the sides of my face. My bronzer, my blush, my contour, my highlight is still popping. Like the highlighter, this highlighter is freaking bomb. I love it. My opinion really hasn't changed on the products at all. I still do think I'm going to end up returning the primer just because I don't really notice it doing anything with my pores. My pores haven't really been tucked away at all, and I really think that's because this primer is not a pore minimizing primer. Like, it just didn't pack in the pores like what I need. As well as the matchstick, I think that this has worn nicely over time with my natural oils kind of peeking through on my forehead. forehead and stuff, it doesn't look as dry and cakey, but it hasn't really lasted too well. It's wearing off on the center of my forehead here. My nose, the product has pretty well wiped away. That's pretty common though with a lot of products on my nose. Underneath the eyes, I also feel like the product isn't there anymore. I feel like my under eyes right in here look super dark. Now, it didn't crease underneath my eyes, which I think is a really big deal, but it does make my under eyes look really dry and really crepey. I do have drier under eyes, so that could be why. If you are somebody that has oily under eyes, maybe this is something that you would like to check out, but for me personally, it's just a little bit too dry for my under eye area. Same thing with the sponge. I do think I'm just gonna end up returning this because I will never use it. I'll never gravitate towards it, especially with me having my beauty blender and the EcoTool sponge. Like, that's just not something that I'm going to use. But overall, I'm very pleasantly surprised with the foundation and the highlighter. I think that those two products out of the 5 that I got are big wins, and I would definitely recommend you guys going and trying them out. With the foundations, I'm pretty sure you can find your shade since there is such an amazing color selection. I really think she hit the nail on the head with the foundation shades. I cannot wait to see what else comes from the Fenty Beauty line. I know that there's some eyeshadows coming out and some other products, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna get my hands on quite yet. I know a lot of people are gonna go ham and get their hands on those. I might wait to see what some people's reactions are before I purchase them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me testing out the Fenty Beauty line. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know down below in the comments if you guys have tried anything out from this brand or if you're planning on trying anything out. I would love to know. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I will talk to you guys soon in my next video. Bye!